Namo Amida Bu. Holy crap, what a week. It hasn't been a bad week, but it's been a crazy week. And those of you who are older, like myself, will understand once you get older, you start feeling your age, especially when you're in a very hectic, crazy situation. That being said, generally speaking, the Saha Realm is a very brutal environment. And I don't just mean extreme violence like we hear in the news. Excuse me. I'm talking about just the general experience of dealing with people. And as I grow older in Amida Buddha, in my relation, that is to say, as I grow older as a person living a life of Shinjin, of simple faith in Amida Buddha, I noticed that I'm able to look at life more objectively and less, I guess, what would you say, narcissistically. I begin to have a hell of a lot more empathy for people and where they're at. I don't excuse stupid behavior. I don't excuse bad behavior. But I also notice more the compassion and love of people toward me. And I appreciate that. Because I know sometimes I can be frustrating. I can get my signals crossed. I can do and say things that are ignorant or could be misconstrued. This is something that happens naturally as a human being. And in a little bit, I will grab my canvas bag and I will take the bus to the Asian Mart and I will buy the bare essentials on my day off because I'm running kind of low on food. But life is good. Life is generally good. But good here in the Saha world is not all that great. Let's be honest. And I've talked to you guys about how through the years there have been many people I've known who claim to be people of Shenzhen, who have come, who have gone. And in that sense of the word, I don't mean dying. I mean their faith wasn't that settled, and they just decided to say, I'm going to go try something else. Amida isn't enough for me. And of course, I judge these people very harshly because Amida is everything to me. Amida is not just enough for me. Amida is more than enough times 50 billion. Amida Buddha encapsulates everything I would ever want in a spiritual deity. Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, and I'm speaking, of course, of the Amida G school of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, encompasses everything I could ever want or desire in a religious faith. The teachings are excellent and pristine. And when all is said and done, in this Saha realm, it comes down to the question, do you stand with Amida? And in my case, the answer is yes. Who else am I going to stand with? Where else am I going to go? What else am I going to do in terms of faith, in terms of drawing strength, in terms of dealing with the forces of life, the emotional forces and the physical strains that hammer on my mind, my body, and my emotions? The answer is always Amida. Amida Buddha, the Buddha of infinite light and light. That is the answer for me. And when I woke up this morning, I could feel the exhaustion in my bones, in my body, in my muscles. My back was tight. And as you guys know who follow me, not that long ago, I had my back totally go out. And so I did morning stretches while I'm brewing water for my tea. Speaking of which, gunpowder green tea. Ah, I found you. Kind of get off the subject for a second. Many years ago, I went to a place called Hong Kong Market in Hong Kong Mall in Houston, Texas. And I was looking for some green tea, and I came across some very outrageously at that time, reasonably priced, this is 20 years ago, boxes of something called Gunpowder Green Tea. And I bought like 10 or 11 boxes. And I ended up using up all of them. And it was marked in my mind as some of the best green tea available. And I got into drinking jasmine tea, and recently I got online at Amazon and found some gunpowder tea, some Davidson's organic, I think it's Davidson's. No, I'm not getting an endorsement. I don't get endorsements on this channel. But it's got a rich flavor. Boy, I really got off the topic there. I think I was talking about how I woke up this morning feeling my age, feeling the pain, feeling like I wanted to get up, but I didn't want to get up. And I think yesterday when I got home from work, and it wasn't a bad day at work, the day before was very crazy, but yesterday was very nice. But I felt like I just wanted to fade away. It's almost like I wish that my body was liquid and it could just fade and evaporate into some. I guess I just wanted to go to the Pure Land. And I'm not talking about suicide. Well, I don't know. At this point, there are times, and I don't consider suicide, and I won't consider suicide because, at least I don't think I will, because it's cowardice, and B, I live to spread the Dharma message. And suffering is part of that Dharma message. Because there are a lot of people struggling out there. And this world is brutal. And it doesn't really matter how many people watch this channel or subscribe. If one person watches it and gets the message of Amida Buddha, they've heard the Amida Dharma. And that's what my life is all about now. But life can be very brutal. life can be very cruel. It can be very painful when you lose family, friends, not just to death, but by change, because this is the realm of impermanence. This is the realm of suffering and desire, the Saha Realm. This is the Dharma ending age of Mappo. I've talked about politics, particularly the American political scene. And I look at that. I also look at, they recently had the Olympics in Japan. I heard a story from a friend about how there was like a track and field runner or something who spitefully knocked over all the bottles of water for the runners to replenish themselves with and took the last one. And I just laughed. I was like, this whole thing was set up for unity. It was set up for world camaraderie through athletics. And in the end, it has become nothing more than an infestation of blood doping, cheating, steroid usage, bad conduct, bad sportsmanship, woke politics. And I just wonder why they even have the thing. That's my opinion. That's one of many subjects I have on one of many things here in our society. If it ceases to serve the purpose it had, it's time for it to go away. Honestly, I feel that way about American politics in its totality. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a woke liberal. I'm not a conservative patriot. I am a person who lives here, follows the laws of the state of Texas and the United States, and to the best of my ability. And my prime devotion is to entrusting myself to Amida, saying his name in faith and gratitude, and wishing to be born in his pure land of ultimate bliss and peace. And if I'm doing this to be popular or to be accepted, even in the broader Buddhist community, I'm shit out of luck. Because when all is said and done, in my life, in my views, in everything I say, think, and do, I have to throw my hands up and say, I'm a spiritual idiot. I'm a bamboo. I'm a person filled with blind passions and desires who doesn't get it. And if I did get it, I wouldn't need Amida Buddha. I would be able to attain enlightenment on my own. I don't just believe in Amida Buddha. I know Amida Buddha. I know he is real. I know his pure land is real. I know that I am going there when I die in my next life. I know I am going to return to all the realms I have once resided in, to share with others that gift of Amida Buddha. However it is to be translated, however it is to be described, to whatever being at whatever stage of karmic rebirth or development in whatever world or realm I go to as a living, actual, enlightened Buddha. And even though I sleepwalk day in and day out in this samsaric, mapo-karmic haze of sleepwalking, when all is said and done, it's me and Amida. It's me and Amida Buddha. So as I grow older and the body falls apart and the mind falls apart, hopefully the mind won't fall apart too much, or I won't be able to share the Dharma. There's one thing that I know. All life is impermanent. Not only am I not going to be here forever, I don't want to be here forever, and I'm not meant to be here forever. I pity those who think that this is all there is. I pity those that think that they need to cling to this fragile, decaying physical form because there's nothing else. There's oh so much else. There's a lot more than what we see and experience here in the Saha Realm. Glorious things, beautiful things, transcendent realities, a consciousness that far extends beyond anything we can possibly perceive, a consciousness that has extinguished the flame of unenlightened suffering and desire. A consciousness that has blown out the candle, that has woken up from the dream. One day I will know this. In my next life I will know this. This I know now. My faith is not about a nebulous grasping of certain theological concepts, but of a rock-hard, diamond-like, solid knowing of Amida Buddha, knowing Amida Buddha personally, knowing he is real, and therefore knowing his pure land of ultimate bliss and peace is real. And therefore I know that the primal vow, his promise that if I entrust myself, say his name in faith and gratitude and desire to be born in his pure land of ultimate bliss and peace, if I do that, I know I will be born in that land in my next life. This knowing cannot come from me. There's no way it could. It would not be diamond-like. It would not be something that doesn't go away in the midst of my suffering, in the midst of my human, emotional, and physical frailties. Because everything else I've sought, every other religious path, every other, philosophy, and everything from Satanism to communism to spiritualism, you name it. It eventually faded away, and that includes Christianity. And that's what I was born and raised in, Protestant Christianity. I was programmed via years of Sunday school attendance indoctrinated into the philosophy of Christian Protestantism, aka Baptist, Southern Baptist belief. It too faded. Why? Because it didn't work when applied to the realities of day-to-day life, especially when it pertained to my life. My conflicted, tormented life. This works. Never before in my life had I ever had a light bulb shine as bright above my head as when I read what the Buddha taught. And never has my mind been blown as that one moment when I was frying venison sausage before going to work and I came to the realization, the one thought moment of knowing that Amitabha Buddha and his pure land, and therefore his primal vow to save me and bring me to his pure land, was real. That has never left me. It never will. I'll never wander off into something else. Now, I say that with the caption that the mind is frail as the body is. You know, who's to say? I meet so many people my age and even younger who, through years of abuse of their body and their mind, through drugs or alcohol, or just naturally, they have gone off and become very demented, very sick. But that's not going to change anything for me, because my Shinjin does not depend or rely on my mental fitness, my capacity to reason. Because even in this state, I acknowledge that I am an idiot by all accounts. I am someone who does the best he can, and that's really not enough. So this is how I focus on Amida in the midst of living life in a brutal world of suffering and desire. I say Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, which means I pay homage to and entrust myself to you, Amitabha Buddha. I give myself to you, Amitabha Buddha. And I wish to be born in your pure land of ultimate bliss and peace. I know, without question, I will be born in my next life in Amitabha Buddha's pure land of ultimate bliss and peace. Namo Amida Butsu.